right price was, but I'm pretty sure this was $18. And if this isn't as comfortable as you like, I would just go.
That is a sack, bro. You're not gonna tell me he ain't been through a lot. I mean,
This was $18. And if you
this is what a body looks like that looks like it's been through a lot. I can tell you because my body, it's got a similar curvature. A similar curvature. But this could be you. You see a sleeping arrangement. It's very bare minimum. Put it in perspective, I have seen folks in the county jail with a better setup than this so far. All I'm saying is that there are people in the county jail right now, today, that currently have more fabric on their sleeping arrangement than this man here.
This isn't as comfortable as you like, I would just go to Walmart or order off of Amazon a little 1.5 to 2 inches of memory foam topper. Next, you want to think about blankets. Now, of course, you probably have blankets at home, so just bring the blankets you have. You don't have to go out and buy them. Blankets are just like clothes in the cold. You want layers. Layers are critically important. By having multiple sizes, multiple layers, you adjust the blankets to the temperature. And that's so why I really like and suggest that you buy a range of sizes. But I'm assuming you have your own sheets. You probably have some blankets. But because you're going to be in the van, you might be colder than you think. Even if you go to the desert in the winter, you'll probably be colder than you think. So this is a blanket that I bought at a thrift store. It was $9, but it's pretty darn thick. I think this will be very warm and comfortable in the winter. This is a light, thin blanket, and it was $9. Both these blankets are in really good shape.
Oh man, think he's slick, bro. Look, he already got his plastic container set up. This is like a tote. This is a plastic tote right here. Money off the shelves. Like it basically already looked like a home file cabinet. Bro, I guarantee you. If y'all was sleeping in a van like this would be a musty, stinky van. Musty and stinky. U-Haul does not want you doing this with their equipment. They want you returning it immediately, post expeditiously.
Got this for $9 at a thrift store. There's our bedroom. The most important thing is done. You've got a bed and a place to sleep. We need organization for our van for all the stuff we're going to have in here. You really want to get organized right from the beginning. And so I have bought a number of organizational tools. First, I found this at a thrift store. It was $7 and it fits perfectly in this location. You're going to have to find a way to keep the drawers themselves from opening. I would suggest a bungee cord around the middle and then a little dowel or a stick you find on the woods to keep all three from opening. But as you can see, that fills in this really good space. If I'm sitting on the bed, it gives me a place to put stuff. Next, I bought a pretty big set of drawers. So I picked this up at Walmart. I couldn't find a larger one for any less money. This was, I think, this was $24 and some change at Walmart. And so I think it will set here. I can cook on this. I could sit right here. I could put a laptop here and watch.
Bro, the city needs to stop this man. He's talking look at what he is talking about. I hope he cooks. Nah, he's gonna cook it with the door open. He wouldn't just put a hot pot down on this plastic top and put the whole living arrangement in jeopardy. We really need to see if he's gonna talk about how he manages to keep the U-Haul for such an extended period of time and how he actually operates all of the things that he plans to install.
My videos or whatever I'm doing, everything, of course, in here is metal. If you have a newer minivan or car, you're not going to have much metal at all. So that's a drawback. But if I have something with I can just hang magnets and hang lots of things off them. But all I have to do is run bungees cords across here. The next thing I got was a 2-drawer filing cabinet. And I know.
All I have to do is run bungee cords across here. It's just the way that he said it so nonchalantly. Like he's outfitted many vans to be comfortable for his living arrangements.
That sounds pretty weird. So as you can see, my 2-drawer filing cabinet fits perfectly here. The door closes just fine.
It sounds pretty weird because it's some OG shit, man. It's some OG shit. Especially because you're really just placing everything in there. You're not really screening anything in. You're not really putting in drywall, for example. You're really just taking it and setting it down.
Fine, I checked it. So it's such a handy thing to have a two-drawer filing cabinet. You know, you got a lot of stuff you carry just for the rig, and so that could all go in here, be stacked up, be neatly organized. It's heavy. Of course, it will last forever, and never, you couldn't hardly ever destroy it unless you go at it with a sledgehammer, and I hope you're not going to do that. I thought for 10 bucks, it's amazing. Okay, last but not least, for organization, I picked up 3 of these totes. See, I get a lot of space here that I'm not using, and I want to be able to use every inch that I can. So as you can see, these will go right under the bed, and that is a huge plus. You're going to get an amazing amount of good organization by putting a couple of totes underneath the bed. Digging to the bottom of one of these big totes is a real pain in the butt. I like the half height one.
Like, if you get past the smells, like, this man is doing very important work that I really want to see about the shower.
One's much better. You just get 2 of them. Okay, so far I have got a ton of organization, and for not much money. Let me tell you something I like for organization even better, and that is cheap duffel bags. This one was $8. This is a pretty nice duffel bag. So what I would do is I would keep bedding. So you have all your winter bedding. You're not going to be using that in the summer. So it will go in here. You have winter clothes or summer clothes, they will go in here. This was $7, and it's actually the bigger one. I'm not sure how their pricing works, but and then one of these could be dirty clothes. Now, of course, the next thing is a bathroom. You have to duplicate the
Oh my
function of a
God.
bathroom. You need to be able to remove your bodily waste, poop and pee,
Bro,
of
why is
course,
this man holding the
and you need to
bucket?
be able to stay clean and shower. You know, I'm going to talk to you about a 5-gallon bucket. I mean, I have used a 5-gallon bucket in a van or some vehicle for 20 years. This can't be improved on. Now you can
20 years, people. 20 years he's been pooing in a bucket. You know, once I get this age, I hope not to be pooing in a bucket. But at some point, he was just like, well, basically a toilet.
buy the seat. Walmart sells seats. I didn't buy one. I thought about it, but I think they're $15, $20. I just sit right on it. You can also use pool noodles or even pipe insulation. This isn't the only choice, but this is $5 and it will last you forever. It will never fail. So you got your 5-gallon bucket for poop. You got to have something for pee. You need a pee pot. You got to have a pot to piss in. You got to. For all the other stuff, you're going to need a basin, a water basin. I can wash my hair in here, even if you have long hair. You can do your dishes in here. You can do a sponge bath on all over. You should have washcloths and towels in your home. You just bring them with you. For in between, just plain old wet wipes. I mean, just plain old wet wipes. That's basically all you need to stay clean. Now, one of the big things you have in a bathroom is a mirror. This is a little Kuglin's camp mirror. I like these a lot. You can find lots of places in here to hang a mirror. You need a mirror.
You, just you, building your app
I bet that old man does.
on
need
base
him.
44. Describe
I bet you if he ain't married, he killing it, boy. He killing it. Probably be posted up right outside the bingo hall, knocking him down for the Social Security check. Yeah, he probably got one too, but you know, 2 Social Security checks. That'll do. That'll do.
Now let's talk about kitchen. You're going to need a stove. You just got to have a stove. You could eat all cold food. That would be an option. I like a stove. I went to Walmart and bought this single burner propane stove, 2-pack of propane bottles. You might want to get butane instead. There's a lot of advantages to butane. There's disadvantages. They had a butane stove at Walmart, but they were out of fuel. That's why I didn't buy it, because the fuel is an issue. So these just screw on. I much prefer the little flat Colemans, but they're not, wasn't available locally. That's it. Just put your pot on here. It's tall and it's ungainly, but it works and it packs down to nothing. Okay, next you're going to need a couple of pots and pans. And I bought these at the thrift store, and I was actually pretty darn surprised by their quality and condition. A 2-quart pot. So if you have a can of chili, you can throw a can of chili in here. But if you want to make some spaghetti, you can also cook spaghetti. You're going to need a frying pan. You're going to fry a hamburger occasionally. You're going to make grilled cheese sandwiches. And of course, you probably have them at home. Just bring with you whatever you have at home. This one was $5. I thought that was a really good deal. The interior is surprisingly good shape. And this is T-fall. The non-stick is quite good, and I paid $8 for this. So a lot cheaper than you're going to get at a store. Next up in our kitchen, we need to get organized. So I recommend that you take a tote and dedicate it to the kitchen. And that way, if you're going to cook outside, it's all in a tote. You pick the tote up, you go outside, and you cook. I bought this silverware, 50 cents each. If you don't have silverware you can take with you, thrift stores where you want to buy silverware, you can buy one at a time. And then I would just put that down here inside. And then I'd keep this done, and I could then cook inside or outside. One more thing we need in the kitchen is a cooler. There are people who don't use coolers in their van life, and wow, that's amazing. I wish I could have done that. I've never been able to do that. For a cooler, I use a 12-volt compressor fridge. For probably a year or two, I used ice. And man, ice is just such a pain. But if that's all you can afford, that's what you have to do right now, you're going today, then an ice chest is on.
So notice the one thing that he decided to spend his money on is something that allows him to keep his food cold. He's not messing with no Yeti. He needs a little mini fridge, and it sounds like it needs a compressor. You really got to pick and choose where you spend your money. Not everything needs to be brand new and shiny. Some of it can be used slightly more.
Obviously, the answer. So I picked this up, and obviously it's not a traditional cooler, but neither is it a cooler price. I got paid $4 for this. I'm in Alaska visiting my son, as I said, and in Alaska, people freeze fish to mail home a lot. And that's kind of what these are designed for. $4 at a thrift store. I didn't hesitate. I bought this thing right up. Amazingly, we so far have, for not much money, replicated all the functions of a house except the one, and that is lounging. Well, for me, I have always just used my bed as my chair. I'm not sure how that'll work with a cot. I've never owned a cot before. I'd have to sit on something so my knees weren't on there, but I believe I could be comfortable sitting in this chair. If I'm outside, I'm not going to sit on my bed, of course. That's you're going to need something else besides that. So I bought a chair. I believe I got this at Value Village. I also went to Goodwill, and so I did both of them. And I found a pretty nice, good condition chair. It's very solid and well built. I think it's going to last. And it was $5. And I can sit on it in here. You know, I could just sit right here if I wanted to not sit on the bed. $5 for a chair, and I'm just sitting right here and pretty darn comfortable doing it. And of course, then I can take it outside and have an outside home as well, an outside camp. Outside, when you set up your outside camp, you need a table, and you also may need a work table inside as well. So this is just a simple TV tray. I think this is going to last a long time. This was $7 at a thrift store. One last thing you're going to need to replicate.
Like, I really need to know when he plans on taking this U-Haul back. Like, why wouldn't U-Haul be looking for this van? Well, you cannot keep a U-Haul for more than the allotted time period. You can't just allot a time period. That's forever.
Replicate your house as you have windows. And even though this is a cargo van, I have quite a lot of windows. And you can't just have your windows open. All your neighbors will stare at you and see what you're doing. And who wants that? That's where Reflectix comes in. Now, this isn't.
Bro, why wouldn't who is your neighbors? Who is your neighbors? Like, we got to be for real. Who is your neighbors? Are you referring to other people in the van around you? Because you're right. If you're talking to other people also staying in the van around you, probably don't peep in through your back window. But we're talking about homeowners and renters of regular dwellings, then why wouldn't they be interested in what you got going on in the back of this U-Haul van that's been parked outside for? You said he's been doing it for 20 years? Nope, you said he was pooping in a bucket for 20 years. My bad. Who knows how long he's been staying in these little vans? This is an old OG type of dude.
Is not actual Reflectix. This is a clone brand, but it seems very good. I bought it at Home Depot. They didn't sell Reflectix. They just sold this clone brand. I'll just compression fit it into the windows, cut it to fit the windows, push it in, and they usually will stay. If not, I can get magnets. That'll keep the heat out in the summer, and it'll keep the heat in the winter. So this is money well spent. This was $10 for 10 foot, 24 inches by 10 foot. So that's it. I have duplicated all the primary functions, the 4 primary functions of a whole house. I'm doing it all in this 60 square feet. I think that's pretty amazing. I've done it for cheap. I'll keep a running total. It'll be up down here, and down in the description, I'll have a link to everything on Amazon that you'll need. Again, hit thrift stores first. You're going to save a lot of money, at least 2/3 of the price if you go to a thrift store. And I know it seems expensive at a thrift store. It seemed that way to me.
$365.
However, go to Walmart even, and it seems outrageous. There you go. A complete essentials van build for not much money. I hope this has been helpful to you, that you see that you can get the essentials of living in a van or a vehicle of some kind for really cheap, not much money, and easy. No work. I didn't cut a single board. I didn't drive a nail. I went to the store. I bought some stuff. I threw it in there. And now I've got a really, really comfortable home. And I get to visit with my son and drive over all over Alaska and have my own little apartment on wheels. I really like that. And I hope you've gotten an idea. Oh, yeah, that was a good idea. I can do that, because you can. You really can do that. So if you got anything out of this video, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll talk to you later. And remember,
Yeah, I mean, y'all can subscribe to Cheap RV Living. He looks like he's really doing his thing over there. But I would just keep in mind, that if you living like this, like he didn't do no interior work at all. He did not need a single chainsaw. He did not need a single power tool. He did not need a single piece of wood. But like I don't want to say he smelled musty, but I think there's a high probability that he smells musty. Why? Because he's taking whole baths in a plastic container that you put your dishes in. He's sleeping under 6 pairs of blankets. He's only taking whole baths or sponge baths. He's pooping in a bucket and peeing in a cup. He's insulating the inside, so it's going to be hot in the winter, cold during the summer. Like all these things, they play a part, I think we should consider it for real. But also, like, he basically stole it at U-Haul. Like, you did not ever discuss how much it costs to keep the U-Haul for forever. All right, y'all. It's been fun. It's been a wrap. Enjoy y'all evening.